Morning, everybody. Welcome to the morning mug. I was determined to sit outside, even though the deck furniture is still a little bit moist, but making it work. Lots of historical connections and the like going on today. But where I wanted to start was with the weather. So South Central Pennsylvania weather today, it's going to cross into the 60s. No rain until late tonight. So get out, get moving, get doing some fun stuff. Second, results from the brain teaser, the 2-minute mystery from yesterday. So go back and watch episode 11 if you didn't get to see it. Here is the solution. And again, the problem was called stolen glance. The wear pattern on both shoe print photos was a clear match. Everyone wears out their shoes in a distinct way depending on where they place the most pressure as they walk. Ned Lester happened to be walking heavy on his heels, which was reflected in the shape and texture of the prints his shoes made on the floor. He may have worn different pairs of shoes to the robberies, but he committed both of them. So that is your solution to the mystery from yesterday. So on my list of things to talk about today, we have a lot of celebrity birthdays and we have a lot of this day in histories. I'm going to do my best not to go on any historical rants because I'm known to do that sometimes, but let us start some celebrity birthdays. Born this day, 1963, director Quentin Tarantino. Happy birthday, still winning all those Oscars. Mariah Carey's birthday is today. Fergie's birthday is today. Actor Michael York's birthday is today. If anybody is a sci-fi person out there and watched the show Firefly, happy birthday to Nathan Fillion, born this day, 1971. He was the Captain Mal on Firefly. Born this day, 1845, Wilhelm Röntgen, the Nobel Prize-winning physicist. If we have to thank him for his discovery and work with X-ray technology. Very, very important dude. So shout out to my physics peeps. I think that's all the birthdays I had. A lot of this day in history. I think I'll just go chronological order. That works the best. This day in history, the 27th of March, 1513, the Spaniard Juan Ponce de Leon first sets his sights on Florida. Age of exploration, something that my AP students, we spent some time on, and we're going to be going back and doing some reviews on that. But the influence of the Spanish in the New World is absolutely huge. I wish I could have a better word than huge, but maybe I just need to drink some more coffee. This day in history, the 27th of March, 1625, Charles I is crowned King of England and Scotland and Ireland. He's the grandson of Mary, Queen of Scots. He's the son of James I of England or James VI of Scotland. Same person. My students, when we did the whole Henry VIII thing and we talked about like his children and Edward and Mary and Elizabeth goes, then the Stuarts take over, the Stuarts from Scotland. This is what we're talking about. So it's that dynasty, it's that family. Anyway, Charles I comes to the throne this day in 1624. He's going to rule very heavy-handedly, and eventually we're going to get to the English Civil War. And spoiler alert, January of 1649, dear Charles is beheaded. So don't rule with a heavy hand unless you're ready for the consequences. This day, do you see my notes today? I decided to try to conserve paper, and now I'm all over the place. This day in history, 1790, we have a very important patent. The modern shoelace with an aglet. The aglet is the little metal or plastic thing at the end of your shoelace. Do you know what I'm talking about? That makes it easier to go in and out of the holes. So that shoelace with the aglet was patented in England by Harvey Kennedy in 1790. Thank you so much for doing that. 1855, Abraham Gessner patents kerosene. This day, another science connection. That's so exciting when that happens. So this day in history, 1865, President Andrew Johnson is going to veto the Civil Rights Act of 1866. Congress is going to push it through again. He's going to veto it again. But in April of 1866, it's going to get that 2/3 majority that it needs to override the veto and become law. This Civil Rights Act is the first step toward the 14th Amendment. And as a reminder for my students, the 14th Amendment guaranteeing citizenship. We're talking all African Americans. If you're born here, you are a citizen. So those who've been working through civil rights with me, this is kind of a core piece for us. This day, 1912, the first Japanese cherry blossom trees were planted in Washington, D.C. So if you haven't heard the backstory, the short version of it is some Japanese cherry blossom trees were gifted from Japan to the United States, and they are planted around the tidal basin in Washington. So this time of year is the Cherry Blossom Festival, and I've actually seen some friends on Facebook posting that they wish they could be there, or they did a drive-by with their cars to see the cherry blossoms bloom. They're absolutely gorgeous. And in Japanese, it's called sakura. So one of my favorite restaurants, shout out to Sakura Japanese in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Delicious. Sakura meaning cherry blossom. So Mrs. Taft was there in 1912 along with the wife of the Japanese ambassador to plant those first round of cherry blossom trees. Beautiful stuff. Okay, that page is done. That page is done. This day in history, I'm going to save this one. I'm going to save this one for the end. 1952, the premiere of the musical classic Singin' in the Rain. It'd be awesome if it was actually raining today, not because then I could actually sing in the rain for you. But so Gene Kelly, Debbie Reynolds, it's one of those American classics. If you haven't had a chance to see it, now's the perfect time. It's one of those that you need to see at some point in your lifetime. This day in history, March 27th, 1980, Mount St. Helens erupts in Washington State. First time that volcano had been active in 123 years. A number of deaths, over $1 billion in property damage. So anniversary of that one. 1995, it's the Oscars. And since I'm making this stupid voice, you know what that means. Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks wins in 1995 for Forrest Gump. Sorry. That's my daily Tom Hanks reference. In 2005, the debut, Meredith Grey. Wait for it. Grey's Anatomy. Yeah. The Shonda Rhimes now hit series. I don't know if any of you still out there are still watching Grey's. In college, I remember with Bree and with Alyssa, we'd go to Wendy's, we'd get a snack, and we'd have to get back because Thursday was Grey's Anatomy. We'd have to watch Grey's Anatomy. I'm still watching. I'm still plugging. It's been a rough season. The whole Alex Karev thing. Anyway, so feel free to mention something in the comments if you feel my pain about Grey's Anatomy. Okay, so my last This Day in History connects to my mug. This is a mug I got in New York City. Went to see the musical If Then, starring Idina Menzel. And so the basic premise is kind of one of those, if you make a certain decision in your life, it will take you down a path. But what if at a key moment you make a different choice? It reminds me of the movie Sliding Doors, if anybody's seen that with Gwyneth Paltrow. She makes the subway train, the metro, the tube. She's in London. She makes the train, takes her down one trajectory of life versus misses the train and goes a completely different way. So even though you're getting stir crazy, even though you're getting bored, please keep in mind every decision you make could potentially have ramifications onto others. If I make this choice, then what will happen? So this day in history, 1915, a woman named Mary Mallon was arrested and returned back to quarantine. She was an asymptomatic carrier of typhoid. So she actually had the nickname of Typhoid Mary. She was a domestic cook originally from Ireland, and it's believed that she passed typhoid on to at least 50 other people. She didn't mean to hurt anybody. She wasn't breaking any laws or anything. But just thinking about your actions, there's a reason for social distancing. There's a reason all these measures are being put in place. If you're choosing to get together at friends' houses, think about what the potential ramifications of this are. I want to go back to work. Well, I'm working, but I want to go back to school. I want to see everybody, and I want everybody to be safe. So that's my political message. Do what you need to do. And as always, behave, be good, be kind. Please continue to recycle. And for the love of all things, practice social distancing and wash your hands. All right, see you tomorrow.